The situation in Ukraine seems to be deteriorating, with clashes between protesters and the police turning deadly. James Marson is in Kiev for us. And James, what's the latest news on casualties in Kiev?
Well, medics this morning said 2 protesters have died from gunshot wounds. Riot police a couple of hours ago smashed through protesters' front lines, and now they're massing several hundred riot police in the center of town, very close to the square where protesters have been camped out behind barricades. I've seen an armored personnel carrier on the streets. At the same time, opposition leaders are meeting President Yanukovych for talks, so it's not clear which direction it's going to go in, but it doesn't look very good.
Okay, obviously the protests against Mr. Yanukovych and the policy towards Europe have been going on for a little while. Why has the situation deteriorated in the last 24 hours?
Well, a bunch of more militant protesters started attacking riot police on Sunday after President Yanukovych signed some laws that severely restrict dissent. The protests had been quite peaceful until then, but now people are saying that simply standing on the square, which is what they've been doing for the last 2 months, just isn't enough, and that it's time to fight.
Okay, and what has the US said so far about this situation?
Well, the US has obviously urged calm, and today it said that it was revoking, or had revoked, the visas of some Ukrainians involved in previous crackdowns on protesters in November and December. It's also warned of possible asset freezes if there's more violence. It's not clear whether this is actually going to restrain the authorities, though, from using force, and so far it doesn't look likely.
Yeah, what's your sense of the broader situation now? Do you see this getting worse before it gets better?
Well, I think things are certainly going to get worse. Both sides' positions are looking more and more entrenched. And actually, even if the opposition comes out of this meeting they're having with President Yanukovych with some sort of deal, although I can't imagine what that could look like, they've already kind of lost control of the streets. So I'm not entirely sure whether people would leave, even if the opposition said it had some kind of deal. There's people on the stage just 100 meters from my hotel calling for Kiev to rise up. So I think people are going to stay and fight if the police try and clamp down on them.
Well, it sounds like a worrying situation. Thanks for joining us, James.